Good stewards gulp God. In our gospel passage today, a pretty long one, Jesus breaks taboo after taboo after taboo. Jesus sees a woman at a well. It's the middle of the day. He approaches us. He approaches her. Taboo number one broken. Jewish men were not supposed to approach women in public. So he broke a taboo. She's a Samaritan woman. Another taboo broken. Not only are Jewish men not supposed to encounter women in public in the middle of the day, they're never supposed to have anything to do with Samaritan women. He asks her for a drink. He's thirsty. He's going to drink out of her bucket because he doesn't have one. Oh my God, another big taboo broken. A big one. Drinking out of the same bucket as a Samaritan woman. Why is that woman there in the middle of the day? Women didn't go to the well at noon. It was too hot. And besides, they needed water earlier in the day for breakfast, for lots of things. That woman went to the well because she was known as the town tramp. She went to the well at noon because she didn't want to be there when the other women were there because she would be embarrassed. So another taboo is broken. Jesus not only approaches a woman, a Samaritan woman, not only drinks from her bucket, he approaches a woman who was known as the town tramp. Jesus breaks yet another taboo. He talks to her about intimate things. He asks her, have you a husband? He knows the answer. He's the Son of God. And she says, no, I don't have a husband. And Jesus says, yeah, you're right. You don't have a husband. You had 5. And right now you're shacking up with number 6, but you're not married to him. Jesus does 2 things. One, he reveals to us that he's fully human as well as fully divine. He was thirsty. But then he reveals himself to the woman as the Messiah, as the Son of God. And he tells her, in effect, look, the reason why you've had 5 husbands and are now shacking up with a 6th is because you're thirsty. You're thirsty, as all of us are, for your God. But you're going about it all the wrong way. You keep trying to find something to quench your thirst by having bad relationship after bad relationship after bad relationship. And nothing, he says, nothing is going to fulfill the only meaningful thirst in your life, the thirst for God, but God himself. About 30 to maybe 35 years ago, I had a relationship with a man. We were good friends. Let's call him Ed. Ed owned lots of stuff. Ed had houses all over the country. No, that's not quite correct. Ed didn't have houses all over the country. He had mansions all over the country. He had cars at every one of those mansions. Now, some of them he didn't visit for maybe a year or 2. Those cars were just sitting around waiting for Ed to come. He had multiple planes, including one very nice jet that I got a chance to fly in a few times. He had several pilots on his payroll, at his beck and call, so he could go anywhere he wanted to have fun at any time. Mostly, though, he used them for business. He flew all over the country buying and selling. Ed owned many, many businesses, several of them worth hundreds of millions of dollars each. Ed woke up every morning, figuratively, thirsty. Thirsty for more things, for more businesses, for more money. He never quite got around to fulfilling the only meaningful thirst, his thirst for God. So, my question for us this morning, two of them, is, in what ways are we like the Samaritan woman? Filling our lives, our thirst for God, with bad relationships. In what way are we like Ed, filling our lives with things? Trust me, Ed was bored with those things. I graduated college in 1966. A couple of years later, the first of what became pretty much an annual national poll was taken, asking college seniors, what did they want more of? An astounding 83% of the college seniors said a more meaningful philosophy of life. Wow. A more meaningful philosophy of life. Many of them spoke about God. The last of those polls that was taken revealed this. I don't think any of you would get what's number one on their list. Surprised me. Number one on the list is another degree. But then came things and money. Meaningful philosophy of life, God? Not in their minds. They have the same thirst that we have, a thirst for our God. But they, like the Samaritan woman, like Ed, are trying to quench that thirst with the wrong thing. My sisters and brothers, here's how we can quench our thirst for God. We can quench our thirst for God by conditioning ourselves, training ourselves. Wherever we are, home, work, play, not so much thinking consciously about God, but recognizing, at least at some subliminal level, that everyone in front of us is our spiritual brother or sister. Everyone in front of us is a child of God. Every one of them, and we should treat them just as we would treat God. Now, as I say so frequently, that does not mean that we can't give justice to those who seriously harm us. We can. But if we do need to do it, we've got to do it with kindness and compassion. Trust me, that will give us happiness in this life. Trust me, it will. And it will earn us heaven, so that in heaven we can completely quench our thirst for our God. Now, I asked, in what ways are we like the Samaritan woman, like Ed, like the college seniors? I can tell you one way that we are better than they. You're here in church this morning. That's a good thing. But coming to church on Sunday is just a little sip of God. There are 168 hours in every week. Giving one of those hours to God is a sip of God. We're called to drink in God fully all week long. My sisters and brothers, we are all called to be good stewards. And good stewards gulp God.